Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me? Okay, good. Okay, please, yeah, thanks. If you can send a comment on in the chat in case you didn't hear me or you want to ask any question, please feel free to add the comment in the chat. Okay, so due to the short notice about the strike, we shifted the class online today. And remember that we started our discussion on chapter 10 on proportion. So we're going to continue the chapter 10 that we started on proportion numerical skill for business. Please, can you please mute yourself, please? Please, if anyone is joining lately, please kindly mute yourself so that there will not be interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So as I was saying, can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen? What's going on? Can you see my screen? Please raise your hand if you can see my screen so that okay, good. See that you good. All right, so we started to discuss on proportion last time, and we remember in chapter 9 we saw ratio. We learn what's the ratio, and ratio actually come from the word the set rational numbers. So we say that the ratio actually is a rational number. If you take a two number, A and B, you want to find the ratio between those two numbers, you take A over B, where A is a whole integers and B is a whole integer. That's what we call ratio. And we can actually do few operation on such kind of ratio, few operation. We learn how to multiply two rational numbers. We learn how to add two rational numbers. We learn how to multiply to take inverse, so on. So that's what we did in the previous chapter. But now here, when we talk about proportion is the similarity between two different ratio. So imagine you have two ratio, A over B, and you have another ratio, C over D. Those two ratios are proportional if and only if they are equal. Okay, so when we talk about proportionality, we talk proportionality between two ratios. So the definition of ratio is settled in such a way that if they give you a ratio, you can actually simplify this ratio to find an equivalent ratio. So imagine 4 over 10 is given to you initially. If you take an example that we are in a house and then we have 4 cats and 10 dogs initially. So after some time, when we count again the number of cat and dog, we see we have 2 cat now and 5 dog. So you can see 4 over 10 is equivalent to 2 over 5. We have simplification. So those two ratio, we have the first ratio, which is 4 over 10, and the second ratio is 2 over 5, and those two are equivalent. When we say equivalent, that simply means that you can actually take 4 over 10 and divide each numerator and denominator by 2. So, and the coefficient of proportionality here is 2. Yeah, so that's what we call proportionality. And an specific example is that imagine that you a man has worked and for 10 days and they pay him 440 rand. Then how much is he paid for 3 days? So that's a simple ratio operation. So for 540 rand, he worked for 10 days. So the ratio corresponding to is 540 divided by 10 days. That's the ratio. And then we are asked now to find the salary that he will be receiving for 3 days. So if you place the equation between those two ratios, they are proportional. So we have now 540 divided by 10 is equal to the new salary, or the salary that he will be receiving for 3 days. Okay. So then you can use the cross multiplication. Actually, you can use cross multiplication because you have 540 divided by 10 is equal to the new price that you want to get. Let's denote it by x divided by 3 days. So when you do cross multiplication, you're gonna have 540 multiplied by 3 is equal to now your unknown variable, which is x multiplied by 10, and then you can find x. So actually the purpose of proportionality is to find a mixing value. So you will have some problem whereby they will ask you to solve or find the mixing value x or y or any. So in this example now, we want to find the missing value, which is the salary that this man will be receiving for 3 days, which we denoted by x. So when you do the cross multiplication, which is 540 multiplied by 3 is equal to 10 multiplied by x. And what is your x? S is now, you can find x easily, which will be 540 multiplied by 3 divided by 10. So that's the missing value that represents the salary that the man will be receiving in 3 days. So you can see the purpose of proportionality is to find, or one of the purpose is to find a missing value. Okay. Another example, suppose that we have 2 pencils are purchased for 12 rand 50. Now, how many pencils can be purchased for 75 rand? So you can see is a proportionality problem. For 2 pencils, we pay 12.50. So you can find actually the ratio from the number of pencils to the price. So the ratio here is what 2 divided by 12 rand 50. That's the ratio. Yeah. So then we are asked to find how many pencils will we be able to purchase for 75 rand. So our unknown missing value here is x, and x actually stands for the number of pencils. X stands for the number of pencils. Okay, and the number of pencil. So when you do the proportional between those two ratios, when you say proportional, that simply means that the first ratio is equal to the second ratio, and the first ratio is 2 over 1250, right? And the other ratio is x divided by 75. So when you equate those two ratios, now you can use actually the cross multiplication. And the cross multiplication here is when you have the two fractions in front of you, the cross multiplication will be 2 multiplied by 75 equal to 1250 multiplied by x. So that's a cross multiplication rule. And when you do your cross multiplication, you can find easily x. So your x now will be 150 divided by 1250. And then you find your x. Okay, is there any question or any comments? Let me check the chat. You can see. So there is yes, I see people is saying, sorry, I don't see your screen. Can you all see my screen? I just see a comment in the chat now that You're not seeing my screen. What about others? I think it's Zizi4 is saying she cannot see my screen. Can you, what about the other? Are you all able to see my screen? Please kindly react. Raise your hand if you can all see my screen, please. Yeah, you can see. Okay, thanks. Okay. I think few of them you can see my screen. So I think if you enable that, simply mean that maybe it's on your side. Kindly check it very well. Okay, good. So if you have a question, please drop a comment in drop. You can drop a comment in the chat that I can read and answer you. Okay, good. That's our second example. So you can see from this example, you have the two fractions, two ratios, and you have one missing value, and the missing value here is the number of pencils. And you equate them, and then you use the cross multiplication rule, and then you find x. Okay, good. Now another example, you see, find the value of d in the following proportion. You say find the value of d in the following proportion. So you can see following proportion is the equality between two ratios. Okay, and the first ratio is here is 3 to 7, right? 3 to 7, and the second ratio is d to 65. Okay, so when you equate the two ratios, you can use actually the cross multiplication. So when you use the cross multiplication, these two ratio will be equivalent to 3 multiplied by 65 is equal to 7 multiplied by d. And then from there, now you can find d. Yep, find d will be now 189 divided by 7. And the value of d here is to be 27. Okay, so what you need to understand here is that very important to know how to do cross multiplication. Cross multiplication rule is very important. Cross multiplication rule is very important, and you need to know what is the proportionality when two ratios are called to be proportional when they are equal. So if you have two ratio, two quantity, two fraction, A over B, C over D, they are proportional if and only if they are equal. And they are equal means that actually you can take one and simplify it to get the other. By maybe taking, if you take the first ratio, you could divide both numerator and denominator by a same factor, and you will be able to get the other. That's what we call proportionality. Okay, good. So this a few exercises. Also you have when you check the textbook, you have quite a number of exercises in the textbook. Please try to read the textbook and do more exercise. So these are few. Calculate the missing value in each of the following proportions. So you can see we have the proportion 7 over 8 is equal to x over 40. So what we want to get here is to find the missing value. So our missing value here, please, can you mute yourself? If you see that you join, please try to mute yourself so that you not interrupt the discussion. Okay, thanks. Okay, so our missing value here is x. Yeah, so we have 7 over 8 is equal to x over 40. So when you do the cross multiplication, after you do the cross multiplication, you can actually solve x. The same way we for 9 over 2 is equal to 63 over y, we want to find y here. So to find s and y, it's the same thing that we have been doing here. You say the same process, the same example. So if you understand example 2 and 3, you'll be able to do those first two questions. Okay. Okay, so the example 3 is a more specific. That's what we call inverse proportional. Okay, so we have two type of proportionality. We have the direct proportionality and the inverse proportionality. So these three, as I three now, is more is already inverse proportionality. That's why you can say you see 10. You say we take 10 and then we actually divide by 1/2. We take 5, we divide by 1/s. We see you see now 2. The inverse of 2 is 1/2. The inverse of x is 1/x. So yeah, I will explain later what this means. So, but just understand that actually 1, 2, there's a 1, 2 here. Those two examples here are classified in direct proportionality, but 3 and 4 are classified into inverse proportionality. So we're going to see what's the difference between inverse proportionality and direct proportionality. Okay. So any questions so far? So if you have any question, please write your the question and drop it in the chat so that I can see and address the question. Okay, there's no question, eh? Good. Okay, so I think from our last, this is just a revision. We already covered all those things, but this is just a revision. So we saw also what we call direct proportionality. So although the example that we have been discussing actually is direct proportionality. So direct proportionality actually it simply means that if you have two different ratios and you take the first ratio, when you take the first ratio, actually you need to do some operation or simplification to get the second ratio, right? So what will happen is that when you are simplifying, you see the numerator, because when you talk about ratio, you have the numerator and then the denominator, right? And when you simplify to another ratio, what happened? If the numerator is decreasing, then you realize that actually after simplification, you realize that actually the denominator is also decreasing. So if the numerator is increasing, of course, the denominator will be also decreasing. That's what we call direct proportionality. So for instance, if you take the example of cat and dog, actually suppose initially we have 4 cat and 10 dog in the house yesterday. And today we saw 2 cats and 5 dog. But we have actually direct proportionality there because we have 4 cat over 10 is equal to 2 cats over 5. So what has happened, you see the decrease between the number of cat and dog. So we move from 4 to 2. So 4 decreased to 2, right? And the number of dog 10 decreased to 5. You see, the less we have, the less the number of dog is decreasing, the number of cat also is decreasing. So that's what we call direct proportionality. So if the number of cat is increasing, then the number of dog also will be increasing. That's what we call direct proportionality. So it's always referred to the more and less legs between two quantities and two proportionalities. Okay. An example: if we had a telephone call, 15 minutes. If a 15-minute telephone call costs 75 rand, what will be the cost of a call that lasts 4 minutes? So that's a problem that you have, and also during the next week test, you have a lot of questions like that in your next semester test. Okay, so if a 15-minute telephone call costs you 75 rand, what will be then the ratio between the times that you spend and the cost? So here the ratio will be 15/75, right? It's 15/75. Okay, so that's your ratio. That's the first ratio. But then you are asked to get the cost for 4 minutes. Okay, so if you try to find the ratio corresponding, let's say the cost you denote is by D. Okay, so the ratio corresponding will be 4 over D. So now you equate to the first ratio, which is 15 over 75 will be equal to 4 over D. So that's direct. So actually we are expecting that if 15 minutes costs 75, we are expect that 4 minutes will generate or will cost an amount which is less than 75. So we are expecting actually a decrease in the cost as well, because of course we have 15 minutes that cost 75. So 4 minutes is lesser. That's simply the time decrease. 4 minutes is lesser than 15 minutes. So we are expecting to find a cost that is also be decreasing less than 75. So that's what we call direct proportionality. And when you equate the two of them, you see that actually D is equal to 20. So which satisfy our assumption or our hypothesis that the cost for 4 minutes is corresponding to 20 run. Okay. Any questions so far? Yeah, okay, that's all right. I'm recording the session, no problem. I'll be recording the session later. You can also access it. Yeah, good. So is this example clear for everyone? Okay. Example 2, if we have 12 book, if 12 book weighs 840 gram, how many book will have a mass of 280 grams? That's a direct proportionality. So of course, if we weight our book and then we see 840, and we want actually the number of book that weight 280 gram, you could see that actually the weight decrease. So that simply means that we if you use the direct proportionality rules, we are supposed to get a number of book that is less than 12. Because if 12 can weight 840 gram, then of course 280 will also will be the weight of in the number of good that is lesser than 12 books. Okay, so when you use the proportionality between those two ratios, of course you have 12 over 840 divided by x equal to x divided by 280. And when you use the cross multiplication, you can find actually x, yes, which is 4. And that's also confirm what we are saying. You see now 4 book now has a mass of 280. So that's what we call direct proportionality. You can see that when we move from the first ratio to second ratio, the number of books decrease. So since the number of book decrease, of course, the mass also is decreasing. The mass also is decreasing. That's the definition that we saw here. That if one of the quantity is increasing by a factor, then the other one is also increasing by the same factors. Okay, and also the more the quantity are increasing of the numerator is increasing, the more the quantity on the denominator also is increasing, and the less the quantity is decreasing, the less it will be also decreasing. Okay, good. All right, let's continue. So there's few exercise on direct proportional. Okay, so let's look at those few exercises. Let's discuss on this. And of course, those exercises are taken from the textbook. You can also check the textbook. There are a few exercises there, and also on the tutorial sheet you see a few exercises there. So those exercises they are the same kind. So if you read and you understand one, you can actually do the other. Okay, it's the same kind, right? It's the same kind. Okay, so if 3 article costs 2790 rand. Okay, what is the price for 8 article? Who can give me the answer? Or write the answer and give me in the comment section. If 3 article costs us 2790, what will be the price for 8 article? So first you need to find the ratio between the number of article, the number of article to the cost, right? Ratio. So our first ratio will be what? 3 over 2790, right? 3 over 2790. That's our first ratio. And our second ratio will be what? We are looking at the number of article divided by the number of the cost. So if we denote by X, the price, so our number, the number of article is 8 now. So we have 8 over X. So that will be our proportionality. So we have 3 over 2790 is equal to 8 over X, right? Hope you're getting me, right? So and then you can find X directly. So X will be if you use the cross multiplication rule, it will be 8 multiplied by 2790, which is equal to 3 multiplied by X. So therefore X will be 8 multiplied by 2790.90 divided by 3, and then you get the answer. Is this clear for everyone? Raise your hand if it is clear. Okay, good. I see people are following me. Good. Oh, thanks. Okay, good. And so if this isn't clear, please drop your comment. Just send a question. If it's unclear, send a question in the chat so that I see. I'm actually checking the chat. Yeah. Okay, so there is no comment so far. There's no question. Okay, so you understand. Perfect. Good. Can you at least write it down? Write it down what? This is Mrs. Mangai. Yes. Can you at least write it down? What do you mean write it down? So can you be please specific to your question? I'm not so sure. Oh, okay, good. I see people have been, okay, correct. Perfect. Thanks for I think Ramanal. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing wrong your name, but yeah, good. I see people have been posting the right answer. Correct. Yeah, that's good. Good. Yeah, yeah. So you see, I can see, let me revise what he has been doing. He said 3 over 2790 is equal to 8 over X. You can see it in the comment section, the answer by Mr. Ramanala, and he used the cross multiplication rule, which is 3 multiplied by X is equal to 2790 multiplied by 8, which is correct. And then yes, he now divide the both factor left hand side and right hand side by 3. So if he divide the whole left hand side and right hand side by 3, then X will be 2790 multiplied by 8 divided by 3, and the answer is 74.4. Correct. The price of 8 article is equal to 74.4. Correct. Good. Okay, so now what about the second question? Let's do the second question similarly. You can do it and then post it in the chat as Mr. Ramanala has done. So a student obtained 45 marks out of a maximum of 75. So what will be the mark of the student if the mark are converted to a total of 60 marks? That's another question. And those questions are the same kind. That's the same method. So if you understand well the previous, then you can do similar things. Okay. Yes. Okay. You see 36 mark. What have you done to get 36 mark? Can you show your answer? Yes, Mr. Lepadi, can you show your answer? You can actually also do, take a picture of and then send it to us on chat so that we see. Okay. So are you all there? Are you working? Are you doing the things? Yes, I can see some few hand raised. And yes, please, if you done, please drop it so that we see what you have done. Someone says 60 over 75. What do you mean by 60 over 75? Yeah, is it the first ratio or the final answer? Can you be please more explicit? Any comments? Any reaction? So I think Terence she say.
So sorry, sir. You divide 60. You say 60 out of 75, and then you get 0.8, and then you and then take that minus 45 times by 0.8, and then give us 36.
Okay. All right. So you can see, yeah. Okay. Terence, I hear you, and there's also another. Okay, this Ramanala. He did 45 divided by 75 is equal to 60 divided by. But let's see. Is it all right? So let's look at. I think Mrs. You got 100 and the other got 100. You all got 100. Okay, let's read the thing very well. Okay, let's read it together. A student obtained 44 mark, right? He got 44 mark out of a maximum 75, right? So if I want to do the ratio will be the mark obtained by the students, right, over the total mark. So the maximum mark is 75. So that simply means the total mark. So I have the first ratio, which is 45 to 75. So it's 45 over 75. Okay, that's number one. And I think Ramanala did it, and also Mrs. Modis, you did this, and that's okay. But now let's look at the second ratio. So the second ratio will be proportional to the first ratio. So we want to get the mark of the student if the total mark were converted to 60 mark. So now if we denote X or maybe M to be the mark that we are looking for, what will be the ratio? what will be the ratio? The ratio will be, is it 60 over X or X over 60? That's the question. That's a very important question to figure out. Is it X over 60 or 60 over X? It's very important to understand the order. The order by which you do the ratio is very important. So if the first ratio, you follow the same order in which you did for the first ratio, right? So if the student got 45 out of 75, the 75 here is out of is the total mark, and we want to know X. S is the mark of the student out of 60. Out of 60, right? So my question to you is it X over 60 or 60 over X? I think all of two of you do 60 over X. A 60 over X. So imagine that if you do 60 over X, so then the student got 100 mark. He gets 100 mark out of 60, which is not, which doesn't make sense, because you can see that actually in the question, what will be the mark of the student if the mark are converted to a total of 60 mark, to a total of 60 60 mark. Yeah, I can see some few, yes, some few, yes, I think good. So those who get a 36, I think they are correct. Those who got 36, they are correct. Exactly. Yeah, I think yeah, you are correct. Good. I see all of you comments. Yeah, thanks. So good. Those who got 36 are correct, but those who got 100, I think you miss something there. It's just the order of division that you miss is wrong. You just turn around. Actually, the total mark is 60. So actually, the mark that you will be receiving should not be beyond the total mark. So the order will be 45 over 75 is equal to your X divided by 60, and then you find X, and X will be 45 multiplied by 60 divided by 75, and then you get 36. Okay, I hope you got it now. Okay, you got it now? Raise your hand if you got it now. You understand this. Are you following? Good. Okay, so the same thing with the question 3. You can do the same thing. Okay. Now, here we want to go a bit further. Remember that what we are discussing so far was related to direct proportionality, and which means that when the numerator is increasing, the denominator also has to increase. When the numerator is increasing, the denominator has to also decrease. But contrary to indirect, which is inverse proportion, is that when the numerator is increasing, the denominator has to decrease. That's you see the other way around. So if I take the example of cat and dog, if initially we have 10 cats in the house and 5 dogs. So yesterday and today, if we check the number of cats, if the number of cats is now 5, or the number of dogs has to be greater. So the more the number of cats is increasing, the less the number of dog will be decreasing. So you can see one of the value will be increasing and the other will be decreasing. That's what we call indirect proportionality. Okay, so the value one variable will increase and the other variable will be decreasing. Okay, But when you do the cross multiplication, the cross product are unchanged. They are still the same. And you remember that in the previous chapters we saw invex, how to find the invex of a number, real numbers. Okay, what is the invex respect to multiplication? What's invex respect to addition? So those are the kind of operations. So we have addition and multiplication. So if I take 1 or 2, what's the invex of 2 with respect to multiplication? Is 1 over 2. So the inverse of a number with respect to an operation multiplication is defined in such a way that when you multiply them, the number and the inverse itself will get 1. So the inverse of 2 is 1 over 2. The inverse of 1 over 2 respect to multiplication is 2. The inverse of 3 respect to multiplication is 1 over 3. Okay, and so on. The inverse of x with respect to multiplication is 1 over x. Okay. Now, let's look at this example, this practical example. So if 7 workers build a wall in 10 days, how long will it take for them to build the same wall? This is a very practical problem, right? It's a very practical problem. So if 7 workers are working together and then they build a wall in 10 days, imagine 4 workers, because actually the more worker we have now, I think the less time we will take to finish the task. That's the in practice. So if seven workers are working together and build the wall in 10 days, we expect that if you have less worker, then what happened? The number of days, the time that they will spend to build the wall will increase. So you can see the indirect proportionality there, right? So 7 days, 7 workers build a wall in 10 days. So okay, that now the question to is that if we suppose that we have 1 worker, if 1 worker wants to will take the task on his own and then build the wall, how many days will he take now? So that's one single worker now will do the workload of seven people. So he will take now 7 multiplied by 10, which is 70 days. So 1 worker now will take 70 days to finish to build the wall, because this single individual will do the workload of seven people. So from there now we know that okay, actually one individual will take 70 days to build the wall. So that simply means five individual will take now 70 days divided by 5, which is 40 days. Right, that's the first method. But you can see actually when you look carefully, the first ratio is 7 worker divided by 10, right? So you can see 7 worker, the number of worker and the number of day. That's our ratio, the number of worker and the number of day. And our final answer, we got the number of worker and the number of days. So we see that the number of worker has decreased, right? From 7 to 5. And what you notice that the number of days has increased. So we increased from 10 days to 14 days. So you can see, contrary to data proportionality that we saw in the past and the last slide, here now the number of worker is decreasing, then the time spent to do the workload will be increasing. So that's what we call indirect proportionality. Okay. Okay, so now how can we translate it into proportionality and write mathematical to solve quickly in case we have a problem and we want to solve mathematically and quickly using ratio and proportionality, or those kind of things, and which is what the method 2 is giving us here. So first of all, you need to actually define the ratio, the first ratio. And the first ratio here is the number of worker over the time, the number of days spent, the time. So which is 7 divided by 10. 7 divided by 10 is our first ratio. Okay. So in if you have 5 worker, what will be the number of days spent? Okay. So since it is inverse proportionality here, you have to be careful here. So our proportionality now will be 7 is the number of workers, divide by the inverse of 10 days. And the inverse of 10 days is what? Is 1 over 10, right? The inverse of 10 days is 1 over 10, okay? Is equal to 5 worker divided by the inverse of x. The inverse of x here is 1 over x. So you can see that's where we have now the equality between those two ratios. So we have the equality. Then you can solve now x easily. So you can use the cross product and then find the x. So you had two fractions here, two fraction. The first fraction is 7 over 1 over 10, and then the second fraction is 5 over 1 over x. Okay. So when you do the cross product, the cross product give you 7 multiplied by 1 over x, which is on the denominator of the second fraction, and 5 multiplied by 1 over 10, and 1 over 10 is the denominator of the first fraction. So from there now you can quickly find the x. So what you notice here now is that you use the rule cross product twice. You use the cross product rule twice. The first is what you got here, 7 multiplied by 1 over x equal to 5 multiplied by 1 over 10. That's what you got actually. And then when you do the product, we know we have learned how to do product with rational numbers also. If you multiply 7 by 1 over x is 7 multiplied by x divided by 7 multiplied by 1 divided by x. 5 multiplied by 1 over 10 is equal to 5 multiplied by 1, which is 5 divided by 10. So you have the equality, right? And then when you do the cross product and cross multiplication, this will give you 7 multiplied by 10 is equal to 5 multiplied by x. So from there you can find your x, and your s will be now 70 divided by 5, which is 14 days. So that's the indirect proportionality. Okay. Good. Any question? Any comments on this note? Yeah, so I see a question here. Is it possible to put the ratio on fraction because using the ratio sign is confusion? Yeah, that's a very good question, Mr. Ramanala. That's a very good question. Yeah, I think yes, use the fraction symbol. I think it's most easier to manipulate fraction because yeah, instead of using this yeah, I would advise to use the fractions. Okay, the fraction, and if you want to write it as a fraction now, you can see you 7. Okay, 7 over, that's a over another fraction which is 1 over 10, right? So 7 over 1 over 10 is equal to 5 over 1 over x. Then you can easily manipulate. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's more easy to manipulate fraction because we have been using the fraction symbol since the previous chapter. Yeah. Good. Any other comment, question? Okay, I can see there is no other comment question, so let's continue. Okay, so here is another example. A team of 10 men has enough food to last them six weeks. Okay, we have 10 men, they have enough food that can sustain them for a duration of 6 weeks. Yes. So if the 2 additional men then join them, how long will the food last now? That's the question. You see, first of all, we need to, when you read such kind of problem, you need to read the problem very well and to understand. So we have a team of 10 men that have enough food for a duration of 6 weeks, right? We have 10 men and 6 week timeline. So now we are adding 2 additional men to the previous. So if you are adding 2 additional men to join them, so what will be the total number of men now? What will be the total men in the group? The total men in the group will be what? Will be 10 plus 2, right? 10 plus 2 will be 12 men now. So we have increased the number of men from 10 to 12. There's the increase in the number of men now. Okay. So now the question is 12 men. What will be the duration for the food to last for 12 men? Will it be more than 6 weeks or will it be less than 6 weeks? And of course, this is a logical problem, right? So if you have 10 men that, of course, you have a food to sustain them in 6 weeks, and now the number of men has increased to 12, of course, then the duration will decrease. Though the number of men increase, but the duration that the food will last will decrease, because now the more people that we have now, the less time the food will last, because we have 12 men, we have to share food now every day. So the quantity of the food will not be enough to last 6 weeks. It might take maybe less, maybe 5 weeks. Yeah. So that's what we call indirect proportionality, indirect proportion. So okay. So if you want to translate this, if you use fractions, so instead of the symbol there, you can take 10 over 1 over 6. Take inverse of 6 weeks. The inverse of 6 weeks, it will be 1 over 6. So we have 10 over 1 over 6 is equal to 12 divided by 1 over x. Our s here is the times that the food will last for 12 men. Okay. So this is the indirect proportion, right? Indirect proportion. And so now you can use the cross multiplication. When you use the cross multiplication, you got 10 multiplied by 1 over s is equal to 12 multiplied by 1 over x. But when you use the first cross multiplication, you have not yet solved x. So you have to do another cross multiplication in order to get x. So if you use another cross multiplication, now you see you have to multiply 10 by 6, which is equal to 12 by x. So the final answer will be 60 divided by 12. Okay, good. Any questions so far? Any question? So let's try a few exercises here together, and then yeah, let's try those exercises together. If there is no question, if you have question, please drop in the chat, or you can even open your mic and speak. Yeah, any question or comment? Are you all there? Okay, I see some hand there. So is it clear? Are you? Yes, I see Hussein. Yeah, he says everything is fine. So what about others? Are you following? Okay, so let's look at those exercise, and please check the exercise on the page 90 91 on the study guide, and you'll be able to get yourself familiar with such kind of exercise and problem. Work on it very well, because you remember that you have a text next week, Thursday. So please try to work on those problem. Okay. Yeah, if you understand one correctly, the other will be so straightforward for you. Okay, so let's look at the first exercise. So if you have 9 workers, okay, 9 workers build the wall in 8 days. Okay, how long will it take 6 workers to build the same wall? Yeah. So this is the same kind of problem that we solved previously. So if you understand this, can you please do it, and then let's see the chat. Let's see your chat if you understand this. Okay, so let's try it. Try and then post your answer in the comment section so that we see what you have you understood. Okay, so we have actually 9 workers. Nine workers build a wall in 8 days. So we have nine people that put their hand together to build the wall in 8 days. So yeah, so if you have 6 workers, what will be the time that they will spend to build? Okay, let's see if few people has posted the answer. Yeah, so let's look at 9 worker a day. Yeah, 6 worker the days. Yes, so we have 9 over 1 over 8 is equal to 6 over 1 over x. Correct. So when you use the cross multiplication, the cross product, of course you're gonna get 1 over x multiplied by 9 is equal to, yeah, so you do another cross multiplication. That's look perfect. 12. Ah, that's amazing. I can see a few people understanding very well. Yeah, Mr. I think Ramanala. I hope I'm pronouncing very well. So good, very good. 12 days, and also Mr. Hibani, good. That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So what do you notice here now? That if 9 workers spend 8 days, 6 workers will spend 12 days. You can see the indirect proportional, right? So we have moved from 9 workers to 6 workers. Okay, we decrease from 9 workers to 6 workers, and the number of days has increased from 8 to 12. So you can see the inverse proportionality over there. You can see. Okay, good. That's fantastic. So yeah. Okay, so let's do another's, because our time is we still have 10 minutes more. So let's I think those exercises are similar to what we did, but let's do the question number 2. Let's try 2. I think the question 2 is the same as the previous example. The question 2 is the same as the previous example, but let's try it together. Okay, let's try 2 again. So a team of 10 men has enough food to last them 6 weeks. If the 2 additional men are joined, how long will the food last now? You try it and post your answer. Okay. Any answer? Can see Mrs. Mifasa. Okay, she said, yeah, that's what the first one thinks. That good. Okay, let's look at the answer by Ramanala. Okay, we have actually 10 men, 6 weeks, yes, 12 men, the number of weeks. So we have, if you use the cross product, we have 10 multiplied by 1/6 equal to 12. Yeah, divide by 1/s. We do, yeah, correct. That's look amazing. Yeah. Any other? Yeah. Okay, that's correct. Good. I can see someone want to speak. Mrs. Yunila, you want to speak? Do you want to speak? You want to say something? Yunila, you want to say something? Okay. She just opened her mic and I just mute her now. Okay. See, yes, correct, Mr. Ibani. Good. So you can see the answer of Brabanala, Mr. Ibani. That's amazing. Correct. So you can see these are similar things, right? So the other question 3 is the same thing. Okay, the same thing. Good. Okay. So in general, that's actually the whole chapter on proportions. Okay, that's the whole chapter on proportion. So we have seen direct proportion, indirect proportion, and you already see a few exercises that we look together on such kind of problem, getting mixed value, missing value, and all those kind of things. So next week, such kind of question will be coming, right? So you get just get prepared. You see the tutorial, you see revision, and also just take the student guide, study guide, and look at the few exercises in the problems, and then work on it. I hope that everything will go well for the test that of next week. So Monday, we'll be doing a class. Normally, I just hope that there will not be a shuttle strike and we meet face to face. Please remember that the test next week will be on chapter 5, 6, and 7 up to 10. And you will be allowed to use calculator during your exam. So prepare questions. Okay, so next Monday we do revision, right? Next Monday we do a lot of exercise and revision. So please write question and that is bothering you, and then you will be asked. You ask me any kind of question during Monday class, and of course you are free to send me an email, personal email, if something is bothering you during. You should just send it to me. And I will take into consideration for revision on Monday. Okay. So that will be enough for today, class. And See you on Monday. Bye bye, everyone.